Other way.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Chase.
I'm Bryce. And we've been living full-time in our fifth wheel for 3 years now, traveling coast to coast. And if you're looking at the title, if you read the title, you're probably a little bit confused because a lot of RVers either work remotely or work camp, and we do neither. So in the spirit of RV life, we're gonna take you on an adventure and share with you what we do for work. All right, Chase, you want to tell our friends where we're going today?
We're headed to the Shenandoah National Park.
Yep, we went there 2 months ago before you started work, and all we did was a scenic highway, and it's about a little over 100 miles. I would recommend going. We did it from the north end to the south, and it took about 3 hours. And you can pretty much just stay in your car the whole entire time. Nothing was open, so we're hoping today that the visitor center's open, and we're gonna do a hike because it's warmer now. All right, y'all, we got our pass. We actually got a membership, so I guess we're now officially RVers at this point. There's really no one here on the roads. I mean, look. We literally have the whole road to ourselves. So, I don't know where everyone's at. If you take the scenic road, there's a lot of overlook, so you can pull off and you can see all the different scenes and scenic views and everything. So I definitely do recommend doing that. You don't even have to get out of your car. We're at the Doyle Trail. There's supposed to be a waterfall. I can't hear water, but golly, y'all, can you see these gnats? These are horrible. We don't know if we're going the right way, but Kenai, come on. I guess as we're seeing if this actually goes anywhere, Chase, what do you do for work?
I am a welder, and I weld in power plants and refineries across North America.
So what kind of plants do you weld in?
Currently, I'm working at a nuclear power plant here in Mineral, Virginia.
There's 2 ways. I guess we're just gonna go this way. So you work at nuclear plants, refineries, coal burners, gas plants. How long do the jobs usually last?
Anywhere from 3 weeks to 2 months. There are some longer projects as well, but what I typically do are outages and turnarounds, so they're about that long. Nothing new construction or anything like that.
Yeah, and you don't work for one company either, do you?
No, I work for several different companies throughout the year, so many W-2s and 1099s. So
yeah. So what kind of like how do you get these jobs? Because I know people are going to ask.
A lot of it's through friends, connections you'll meet along the way. Also, the recruiters that each company has employed to seek out workers in different crafts. Typically, you can just contact them and they can get you lined up or pointed in the right direction of what jobs, and then from there you go in. For myself, go and take a well test, and if you pass, you get a job. If you don't pass, you go to the next place and take another well test.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that you brought up with the well test, because at least when I thought that when you said, hey, I got this job, I thought he already had a job. That's not the case. So when you go there, you actually have to do a well test to officially get the job.
Yes, so each plant, each company, sometimes the plant will honor the company's well testing program. So if I go to a company and take their well test, I usually sometimes don't have to take another well test at the plant. But then there's some cases where the plant requires a well test and the company requires a well test. So I'll go to the company's headquarters and take a well test for them, and then from there I'll drive to the plant and take another few tests for the plant, and then get certified through the plant and the company. And each weld test lasts 6 months, and then it expires if I don't make a weld within that time period.
So I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. But yeah, so we travel pretty much coast to coast. We don't work for one company, but multiples. I think 1 year between the two of us, we had what, like 10 W-2s?
Seven or eight, something like that.
It was a lot.
Quite a bit. Last year we didn't have that many. I think it was just 2. This year I'll probably have maybe 5 or 6. But
yeah. But so how many months out of the year do you work?
So last year I worked 9 months.
Yeah.
This year probably worked maybe 10. I mean maybe 10, 11 months.
Yeah, so your off season would be, we usually take off like summertime, like June, July are kind of
summertime
summer.
And after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and after Thanksgiving. Not that we couldn't or you couldn't work.
He's ready to be picked
Yeah,
up.
he's done. You lasted like what? How long did you last, buddy?
A good 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
5 minutes. That's probably a record. So yeah, summertime and then wintertime is kind of our slower months. Could we find work? I think now, since we've had more connections, or at least you make more connections, you could if you wanted to, but we just kind of choose not to. Oh, that's another thing too. How many hours do you work?
Anywhere from 72 to 84 hours a week.
See all these rocks and stuff? It's actually, we're actually like,
quite a few
we're
rocks
actually
on this
going
trail.
down quite a bit.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a lot of
Remember
fun
how to
going
get
back up. I don't know. If you see this video, this means we made it. If you don't see this video, then we're still in the park
We'll drop
somewhere.
our coordinates down below.
Someone please come get us. So usually when you start a job, what will happen is you do all the certification and stuff. So the first week, or maybe 2 weeks, he'll work 4 days, 10-hour shifts. Maybe
this is the waterfall.
This better not be the waterfall. This is gonna be so sad. Can y'all see that? That can't be it.
No, we gotta get going. We gotta go.
That'd be so disappointing. Honestly, that would be our luck. You think we go? I think we go up. I don't know. Seriously, if you don't see this, someone come find us. We're in the Shenandoah National Park. But back to the hours. So first 2 weeks you'll do 4 10s, 4 days, 10-hour shifts. Then once you start, if it's a nuclear plant, he'll work 6 days, 12-hour shifts. And then if it's like a refinery, he'll work
7 12s.
Yeah, 7 12s, and he'll get every 14th day off. Like, where is even the trail now? Sometimes you've had like a weekday off, a Sunday. It just really depends on what day he gets off. But that's usually,
Yeah.
that's usually the gist. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it, we should have brought that map, or I should have taken a picture of the map. So smart.
I'm out of shape.
It's interesting to see how many people are doing the RV life and how everyone's doing it differently, which is great. I think for us, we kind of did it unconventionally because we didn't watch. A lot of people will watch YouTubers, other RV YouTubers, thinking, "Oh man, that's what I want to do." But we didn't really do that. We mainly just did it because we wanted to be around each other more. I wanted to see him more, at least every day when he got home from work. There'd be times where, you know, I didn't see you for 5 weeks at a time, and then come home for a day or where we were living, and then back on the road for another 5 weeks. As you can tell, we're back in the truck. If you do the hike, you go down and then you come back up. So just keep that in mind. Wasn't what we expected. I don't do a very good job planning our excursions, so I take the fault on that. So that was my fault. But yeah, we'll do better next time. But
It was fun.
It was fun. It was really pretty. There were a lot more people that started to show up too after we were done. I was surprised at how many people were actually there on the trail that we were at, and how many cars we saw on the road, on the main road. The main visitor center, called Big Meadows, I think that's what it's called, that was open. They have a museum that you can walk through. They have the Junior Ranger program, so if you were into that. The restaurant, which we didn't go into, but they had a little convenience store, was open too. They have a gas station in there, so if you need gas, they even have diesel. And honestly, the diesel was cheaper than what we're paying over by where we're at, so that was kind of funny.
Bring water with you on the trail.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Make sure you bring water on the trail. That's my fault too. Anyways, we thought we'd finish answering some questions that we get a lot with when we travel and with Chase's job. We also try to get jobs to where they're back to back as much as we can. Sometimes it's a little hard to do that. Sometimes we get lucky and by the time we finish a job, travel and get to the next one, the next job will start. But honestly, for the most part, we've gotten pretty lucky with how close your jobs have been.
Yeah, it's not as hard as you think to kind of stack them to where you can hit one job after the other. Sometimes you might have to drive a couple states over or a lot of states over, or sometimes you might just drive just 2 hours away from that, within that one state you're already in, which is that's the best way if it works out that way, but typically not. You're having to drive anywhere from probably 500 to maybe 1,500 miles to the next job.
Yeah. Actually, next week is the closest we've ever been to the next job, and we're only going a couple hours away. And you'll have to watch next week because we're going to an RV park that's not even an RV park. There's a spot for us. We don't know what it looks like. It's not on the maps. There's no website. The lady seems very nice. So yeah, we will have to see because I don't know.
Well, you made it this far. Thank you for watching our first video. If you haven't noticed, it is our first video.
Yeah.
Tune in each week for adventures with us as we go through this RV life and through work.
Next week we'll be going to that RV park that we have no clue. So make sure you turn in because everything is going to be an adventure. Okay. Say like, comment, and subscribe.
Bryce, tell everyone what you did this morning.
Happy Easter, y'all. So this past week, I looked on the website and Facebook at this church that we go to whenever we can on Sundays. And I didn't see a time change for the Easter service on Facebook or the website. So I was under the impression that church started at 10. We pull up, we walk into church at like, what, 10:02?
Yeah.
And
a little late,
and it was packed. Everyone was standing and singing, and we walk into the back. Thankfully, everyone was standing.
Yes.
We sit down, and as the pastor is praying, we look at each other and we're like,
giving his closing.
He was giving the closing
speech.
Prayer. Y'all. So,
Second time this has happened. Not with Easter, but just in general, going to churches while we're traveling on the road.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out to where we can go to church on Sundays. Sometimes it doesn't. So on this job, it hasn't worked out. But I just got finished with this one project, and we had a 3-day weekend, and I start back tomorrow. So we were going to go this morning.
Yeah. So. And very sweet lady
the greeter and her husband. She came up after church, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry." She said, "I knew this was going to happen." And I asked her, I said, "How did y'all promote it? Because I didn't see anything." I said, "Was it by word of mouth?" She said, "Yes, and also on our sign." Well, Chase doesn't pass the sign going to work. And I said, "Okay." I said, "Yeah, because I checked this past week and I didn't see anything on Facebook or y'all's website, so I thought it started at 10. She's like, "I knew someone was gonna, show up at 10. She's like, "And I felt so bad for y'all." And I said, "I promise we are very much on time people." And yeah, so she was very sweet. Her husband was very kind too. And so, we'll definitely go back if we can on a Sunday. But yeah, so if you travel and you go to church on Sundays whenever you can, I've learned 2 things. 1, call the church ahead of time, like call them to double check. And 2, check the day before you go to the church, because when I got back in the car, I checked their Facebook and the website, and it said that the Easter service started at 9. I checked like midweek last week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
He's
Do your due diligence.
Happy Easter.